NieR Automata is a fantastic game with a deep, meaningful story and beautiful design elements, mixed with a wide variety of gameplay styles from different genres. But how does its design interact with the rest of it to make it a cohesive whole? Well, that's why you clicked on the video, I would assume. Also, spoilers ahead, so if you haven't played this fantastic game, go do it. And then come back. The first landscape you experience is a wide open ocean and flying through the air, which is kinda unremarkable, but after a while of learning the game mechanics, you get dropped into a massive rusty machine factory that really shows how long ago the world collapsed in this universe. Before this point, you get a bit of narration about how you are an android for Yorha, a fighting force made up entirely of androids made to look like people, and how humanity is hiding on the moon for Yorha to destroy the robot threat. You fight your way through this factory, seeing destroyed pipes and watching the factory still barely running, conveyor belts pushing you along as you fight through it. You make it outside the factory and meet up with another Yorha android, named 9S, and you both end up dying, but 9S manages to back up your memory before you have to sacrifice yourself to destroy the giant enemies you find yourself surrounded by. You wake up back on the main station of Yorha, which is in orbit around the Earth. Everything inside is pristine white, and all the color is drained from everything, which the developers added in to make space feel robotic and lifeless to fit in with the fact that there is literally no natural life. You get sent back down to Earth to meet with a local resistance force of androids who still live on the Earth, where you get to see the main area of the game, which is a destroyed, overgrown city. It reflects how the robots have taken over what humanity has made, and the sprawling vines and towering trees parallel this. You can find wild animals walking around what used to be a dense city center. You proceed through the game to find a tunnel through an old sewer system that leads you to what used to be an amusement park. You see many robots there, but some are actually friendly. You make your way closer to a giant castle in the middle, as it shoots fireworks and music plays, balloons still hanging in the air. This is when the story starts ramping up, and you can begin to feel it through what's around you. You reach the castle at the center of the theme park and fight a boss who fights by singing. You have to learn the dance to the death that the both of you are now stuck in. The area around you contains an old stage, and later in the fight, the robot begins to drop dead androids that have been crucified to attack you. You escape after defeating the boss, and the aura in the theme park is way more somber than it was before, as you leave. A friendly robot comes to greet you as you're leaving, asking you to follow them. You leave the theme park and follow them through some deep woods and hear distant singing. When you reach your destination, a peaceful village full of robots singing to you greets you, and the environment around you is very green and alive, and it's probably the most visually bright point in the game. And it's because it parallels the plot in almost every single way. You can find more areas throughout the game that are bright, but they never seem to get as bright as this because this is the moment your characters start to get hope. You eventually go to an oceanside city after this, and it's always rainy and depressing due to the relevant boss fight that happens here, where you lose 9S and have to go save him, which leads you to the next area after a giant crater is blown through the city center you've grown so accustomed to. You have to delve deep into an alien spaceship and fight a pair of evolved robots. You get led into an underground recreation of a city, done in all white and cubes. It's painfully white and seems to display how the robots view humanity. It seems to display how they wish to recreate humanity for themselves. Everything around you is made up of this perfect white, your characters being the only splotches of color. It displays the bleakness of your situation as 9S being crucified to a wall high above the ground. The way the design parallels everything you do in this game is fantastic. Every single new location matches with the story beat it is introduced in well. The forest and castle are introduced when the story is looking up, but you still haven't seen the bigger picture. So part of the forest is winding and almost confusing. You find it full of enemies patrolling, training, and preparing to fight you, and when you reach the castle, you find it full of many different levels. You have to find your way up, fighting along the way. As you enter the throne room of the castle, you get introduced to A2, a rogue android from Yorha who you eventually control down the road of the story. But the room you find her in ends up showing her importance. It's a giant, sprawling room. When you find yourself playing as 9S, hunting down A2 after your main character had been killed by her, you fight through these mechanical towers that are constantly shifting around, emitting smog into the beautiful environments, tampering with what was the status quo for the entire game before this. They really shake up the way you see locations, and once you complete them, you gain access to an area similar to the underground city recreation. It's all white with sprawling open spaces that seem to be a never-ending white void. You climb up further and further, finding pitch-white libraries containing humanity's knowledge that has been collected by the robots. It shows the bleakness of the situation once again, but it shows the heights you went for this, as it's literally the highest place you've ever been in the game. And eventually, the two characters you've been playing as up until this point, 9S and A2, you have to make a decision which one to play as, and you have to kill the other. You do this high above the clouds in the tower, and like I said, it is the highest point in the game. It literally is the climax of the story. No matter what side you pick, the tower underneath you collapses as the climax of the story finishes off. Thank you for watching, and this was also a school project.